Okay, here it is. It is February 12th, 2022. 34 years after my daddy-o passed away. Anyway, the morning, this is what happened. I went to visit my parents. I had an ultrasound and I found out that I was having a girl, my lovely daughter, Alex. And so I was really excited to see them. So it was actually a blizzard. So I took, all the buses were canceled, but somehow it was like a flippin' school bus was running, doing the trip. So I hopped on board and bouncing and this and that. I was 5 months pregnant with my daughter. Anyway, I got to my parents. I had a nice visit. My dad was crazy as usual. My son was already there. He was staying with them, visiting. And so my dad, my mom and I sat in the kitchen. At one point, I remember my dad coming in and he had these blown up lips. And I had the lips as the pillow. I don't know if everybody remembers the lips that get blown up and they go in the bathtub. It has like a little suction cup on it. So anyhow, I had them stuck to his forehead. So you see the top of his head because he was balding. And you see his chin. And I just remember looking at him going, oh my God, what is wrong with you? And then I'm thinking, oh, where's my camera? I'll get a picture of that next time. So here's like the start of the little regrets. So anyway, the night went on and my dad was so crazy and funny that, at one point I actually locked the door to the kitchen so he couldn't get through because he was just insane and I was just chatting with my mom. So anyhow, he made us a hot chocolate and then we sat down and we watched a movie. And then after a while I was getting sleepy, so I went to bed. Now, my parents were kind of separated, even though no one in the community knew it. My mom had her room and my dad had his. His room was across from the bathroom. And I remember before going to bed, I thought I'll have a pee. And I noticed that his bed wasn't made. And I thought, oh, I should help him make his bed. And then I was like, oh, no, I was too tired. So I went to bed. But anyway, I did hear him coming up to bed. And then I thought, oh, I should get up and help him. And again, I was too lazy. I was like, oh, no, he can do it himself. Now, here's the thing. So that's another regret because my son was sleeping with me and in the middle of the night, he said, I'm going to go and climb in with Grandpa. So I said, okay. So I remember thinking I should just sit up and look at the clock. Didn't want to. So I almost think that might have been the time when my dad really passed away. And so another regret. So anyhow, I go back to sleep and in the morning I hear Jeremy, I want a drink of water. I want a drink of water. And he just kept, normally everything's quiet and I used to like bounce out of bed and like quiet my son down and get him whatever he wanted. I just wanted everybody to be able to sleep. So anyway, this morning, Jeremy woke me up. So I took my hot chocolate and so I rinsed out the cup and then I gave him some water. So as I was taking it into my dad's bedroom, I had the cup in my hand and my dad was like stark naked. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to look, be scarred forever. So I was calling him and because I wanted to throw the blanket over, but I didn't want him to wake up thinking I was taking the blanket off. So I kept saying, Dad, Dad, but no response. His eyes were actually open and looking over his head. So I don't know how I didn't clue in that he had passed. So anyway, finally I just threw the blanket and I went to hand the cup of water to Jeremy. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh my God. So I basically bolted down the hall and I'm like shaking my hands and I'm like to my mom, I'm like, oh my God, he won't wake up. He won't wake up. He won't wake up. And my mom's like, what? Who? Like what? And I'm like, Dad, he won't wake up. He won't wake up. And for some reason, I couldn't touch him. My mom came in and she touched him and of course he felt cold, but I just couldn't touch him. It was really weird. Normally you see where people like throw themselves over the body but I just couldn't. So anyway, my mom grabs Jeremy and I felt so bad for not even taking my own son. He just turned 5 or 4. I can't remember. Anyway, Yeah, so my mom takes Jeremy. She's like, go down and like keep busy, just do something. So do the dishes or something. So I was like, oh my God. So I go downstairs and I go to call Tim, my like my guy at the time. And so Jeremy's right beside me and he's like, is he dead? Is he dead? And I was like, no, 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 he's sleeping. I didn't know what to say to a child. So anyhow, I'm trying to spell on the phone with Tim and I was like, DADDAED. He's like, what? Like at first I called his work. Of course it was too early. It was like 7ish. Then I called home and then I'm trying to spell and then DADDEID. And he's not understanding me. And I can't say anything because Jeremy's right beside my hip. He's like asking all these questions. And so finally I hang up the phone. Then Tim calls back and somebody answered it. And he's like, oh my God. Like he finally clued in that I just couldn't spell that he's dead. So anyway, people start coming in early. It was really weird because my dad was a minister. And so anyhow, the door opens and then people are like crying. They're like, oh my God, we just heard. I don't even know how they heard. And then I was like so calm as a cucumber. And I was like, oh, would you like to see the body? Come on up. So I took them right up to my dad's bedroom. And I'm like, there he is. He's dead. And so they're freaking out. They're crying. I'm just like normal. It was weird. And then again, I'm like, oh, doorbell. Went downstairs. Again, I'm like, yes, he's dead. Would you like to see the body? So again, I take someone else up. I did it like 3 times. And then the 3rd time I look at him, I was like, oh my God, is he breathing? And then finally my mom, Tim had arrived at the house. And then my mom was like, can you get her out of here? Anyway, as we're leaving, I see like the car that takes the body away. So funny. I wasn't bothered all day. I even had a sign that my dad's hanging out with me. So anyhow, I see this, I can't remember what that car is called. And I just know that they're going to be taking my dad. So they actually left my dad in the house for hours. It was a long time before finally someone took him. Anyhow, when I came back, he was gone. And then my brother and his wife and kids had shown up, and it was like my dad's exercise bike, and I see my nephew on it. I was like, oh my God, get off of it. Because I didn't want, I don't know why this just like makes me cry now. It's like I didn't want the numbers to change. Just wanted everything to be the same. So anyway, the next day or whenever, we picked out an outfit. I didn't want an autopsy. It was really weird. It just kind of took over. Maybe it was because I was pregnant and would just let me do whatever I wanted to do. But anyway, chose his outfit. And picked out his casket. Made all these arrangements. And yeah. So the day of it, so it was the 12th. Then was the 13th. I guess the wake was on the 13th. Because I don't believe they had it on the 14th, which was Valentine's Day. And his funeral was on the 15th. Anyway, so the wake is happening, and so there it is, the moment. So I opened the doors, and it was like it was a double room, because they knew it was going to be big. It was filled with flowers, and I said to everybody, just give me a second. So I went in, and I walked through this huge room filled with flowers. And then I walk up to the casket, and I look down, and I was like, oh, thank God. He just looked like he had fallen asleep on the couch. His glasses were on. So anyway, I looked at it. I was okay. I thought they did a beautiful job with him. And so anyhow, and then I let everybody come in. And so, yeah, it was like a huge, huge amount of people. that came to say goodbye to my dad. Man, I didn't want this to be sad. I was like, fine. Like all day, I wasn't bothered. Even I had to sign that my dad was hanging out with me right after I posted what I posted earlier. So anyhow, yeah, the funeral happened. Yeah, that was tough. Anyway, and then my beautiful friends came to support me, and they loved my dad. I'm so grateful, but my mind, like I couldn't even remember them being there. I couldn't remember anything. So anyway, maybe this is good. I'm crying. I've been strong. I'm always strong. So anyway, yeah, I had the funeral. It was a beautiful funeral. And then we all went to my parents, my mom's then, and then everybody came over. So yeah, so that's what happened. I can cross off the box that says, hey, have you found a parent dead? Yes, I have. So after that, like I have had PTSD where if I know someone's home and they're not answering me when I go in, like I seriously am like pushing doors open to look for feet. I'm just so terrified of finding someone else dead. So yeah, so that's what happened. That, that was pretty horrendous. I had a lot of nightmares after that. They actually put me on some type of a Valium, I think, even though I was pregnant with my daughter. They were concerned, like, oh, she's going to lose the baby. But my daughter's strong, and she made it. She's here, and she's beautiful. I'm so lucky. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened. That is how it all went down with my daddy-o. And I still miss him every day. I know he's here with me. And so anyway, I love you all. Bye. Bye.